How's it going?
It's doing twice as fine as yesterday. I'll tell you that much.
I think we're on a bit of a roles reversed. I yesterday I had some good sleep. Today it's a little bit wacky.
Yeah, no, trust me. I know what it's like about getting no sleep. It's never fun for the day after.
Yeah, man. I'm in the process right now. I'm trying to like fix up my sleep schedule, and yeah, it's been brutal.
You gotta stress the system a little bit to get yourself back on tracks.
Oh yeah, man, that's for sure. But hey man, welcome to Ragin Riff. Welcome to Castle Black Radio as well. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
I'm very excited to do this interview with you today. I interviewed Scully from your drummer as well, but also the singer and everything else of Seasons of the Wolf. That was an amazing interview, so I think this one's gonna go just as fine.
Yeah, perfect.
So let's get into the first question here I got for you. My first question for you is, how long have you been working in Twisted World?
It's been like 2 years and a half, 2.5 years now. It's been a good ride.
Nice, nice. So your experiences with Twisted World so far, right? Well, would you like to tell us any like memories or anything that you know, is important
Well,
from?
definitely the first memory is the audition. They said that they were trying to find themselves a singer for like weeks or like 2 months,
Uh huh.
and they just didn't know who to get. They didn't know who to pick. And then the second that I got into the room, they said, "Well, we don't even have to look at this list anymore. This guy's got the chops." And I was like really flattered by that. And I was like, they got the chops too. So we just kind of, it was the second that we all rehearsed one of the songs together, we kind of realized it was like a really good fit, and it kind of just happened naturally. And ever
Nice.
since then, we've been practicing every Saturday for the past 2 years.
So as far as like singing experience goes, how long have you been into like singing for either bands or just in general?
Just in general, since I was like 5 years old, I sang. I've always sang out my house so much to where my parents would tell me to shut up. They'd beg for me to shut up.
Yeah, see, my parents do the same thing, but not because I'm singing too much, because I'm singing too awfully.
Too awfully. No, there's an awful lot of singing to be done, is what I'd like to say.
I mean, if I can get myself on the right notes, like I've said to Scully and a whole bunch of other musicians that, especially when it comes to singing, especially with like an instrumental in the background and stuff, I'm off rhythm and I don't sound very well. I'm also off key.
Well, then your place is probably is the jazz section, because I'm kind of like, if you ever remember Disney's Ratatouille, there was a character who said everyone can cook. I like to believe that everyone can sing, but not a lot of people believe they can sing. And it's
Mm.
really rough hearing that as a singer, because I've been in choirs throughout my life for like 10 years. And you see all these people who say, "Oh, I can't sing," but the second they get put into a choir, all of a sudden they can sing by themselves. They just don't realize it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people go through like a like an insecurity with singing because I've seen some people in my life who can sing extremely well when they're like behind closed doors and stuff, but when it
Or,
comes to like
or in the shower, everyone's a shower singer.
everybody is, especially when you got music going in there and everything else.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I've seen people who sing behind the closed doors, and then when it comes to being in person, like next to another person or whatever it is, they just freeze up and say like, "Oh, I can't sing. That's not me." But I don't know. I feel like that partially is me in a way because I can't if I were to jump in front of my parents and get a microphone in my hands and try to sing something, I would just start nervously breaking down, so that wouldn't happen. But if like I'm behind closed doors and stuff like that, I feel like it's a lot easier for me to sing. So I feel like I fall underneath that category.
Well, it depends. What's your favorite stuff to sing?
Well, for me personally, I'm a very multi-genre person, so I can rap a lot, but I'm trying to focus more on rock music because I want to eventually establish like a solo project that is
Yeah,
I think underneath like the metal category or like the new metal category because that's kind of like my favorite genre of metal. So
like progressive metal.
yeah, something like that, or like for a good comparison, like Deftones, Slipknot, like that type of genre, or Disturbed.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's cool because you'll take these newer genres and you'll create something new out of the new. Says music is always changing, just like the art world.
Yeah.
If we were still stuck in the 50s, no one would find any songs entertaining anymore, and people would only want to listen to Elvis or Frank Sinatra for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I'll listen to Elvis and Frank Sinatra for the rest of my life.
Yeah, there's some people who do, and they're called living in retirement homes. All the way down in Florida, you know how that is.
Yeah. Alrighty. So my next question I got for you here is: have you ever done any interviews before?
No, this is definitely my first interview. Like, job interviews, sure, we've had those. But actual interviews where people are asking me about what I am about musically, this probably my first. I can't think of it at the time.
So this would be like the first like press for a band or anything that you've ever done, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Nice, man. I feel honored. I'm getting some big stars here for this one.
Oh, it's okay, it's okay. No, not too famous to not be. You gotta be humble with this stuff, or
Yep,
else no one's
definitely.
gonna really understand what music's about. Music isn't about being grandiose. It's just about being like centered and grounding yourself in music.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, that's the thing. You blow up one day, you get there, and you start performing at the big centers and stuff. Just understand, DJ Zave was the first one to interview you.
DJ Zave got me. DJ Zave got me started. He got me going.
Yeah, so when you start getting interviewed by those big media companies, just be like, hey, you're not DJ Zave.
Yeah, DJ Zave had me first.
Exactly.
We had the experience right back with Castle Black, and I can always remember that.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I haven't done too many interviews myself. I think you are the fourth interview that I've ever done because I started DJing in June on my own station, and then I moved over to Castle Black Radio, and I saw a bunch of people doing interviews with band members and stuff. And I was like, yo, I have to get myself into that. So, yeah, I mean, you're definitely one of the first
cool
people.
thing is that interviewing is such a cool genre. Like, you get to really get behind the head of people that you are interested in, and it's cool because the more interviews you do, the more prolific of an interviewer you can become, and one day you can maybe interview Ozzy Osbourne, but it's not like you're gonna get him to say anything.
He would just give me one word answers, and it would be like a 5 minute interview.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely a cool thing to definitely interview bands, and it's one thing that I like about it the most is seeing different perspectives because everybody has a different opinion when it comes to music, and it just when it comes to other things too. Because I ask sometimes non-music related questions just to see what the artists do on their free time and stuff like that. That's one of the questions later on in here, but
Oh yeah, I'm a big gamer. I just started off big with music and gaming. That was my thing. And so you were playing the Wii Shop music. I was like, well, that hits home. That's very nostalgic.
Hey man, if it makes you feel better with anything, I've been playing Wii Sports recently. I've been trying to break a world record on that. That hasn't been going well.
Exactly.
But
Yeah. There's world records that people have just been ignoring since the 2010s when it was released or whatnot.
yeah.
If you have a working Wii, you can get a brand new record.
See, for me, I'm very big into the DJing category, but I'm very big into gaming and Twitch streaming and stuff like that. 'Cause that's kind of what I do outside of Castle Black Radios. I do a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. So.
Well, it's good because you have like two things you get to do. You have your outside path. You have like two career paths almost right there.
Yeah. I mean, I like both of them. I feel like I take DJing a little bit more serious because I definitely could say, because I've been doing Twitch streaming and YouTube and all content creation and stuff like that for since I was 9. I'm 20 now, so 11 years.
Well, yeah, you're right on the tracks. You've been doing it that long.
But in Castle Black and just DJing and stuff, it's newer to me. I like it more. So I've definitely been focusing a little more heavier on this. But I always try to mix and match and try to get myself to do the other things as well.
Absolutely, I like that.
Hell yeah, man. So, next question I got. Is there a new single or album that you guys are working on? And when can we expect it?
Well, I can't reveal all the secrets. That's the thing, Scully's definitely he's the mastermind behind what to release and when. I definitely know that we've got some rockin' stuff in the mix. No albums coming out soon. I think we're going to stick with the singles for now. I think there's songs either like Climb This Mountain, which is about, like getting over a subject that's terribly difficult, when you make mountains out of molehills, you got to deal with that mountain somehow. So this song's going to be about that. Or we can do, it was called Past the Rain, which is a similar subject, but instead of a mountain, you've got these rain clouds that got you depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And past that, like most of our songs are transitional pieces. They just feel like well, put it on while you're dealing with some bullshit in your life.
Yeah. No,
And, the time will pass by when you heal.
definitely, man. That's the type of music I like. I've been through a whole memoir of stuff in my life. I mean, if I sat here and told you all of it, it would
Oh,
be
yeah, we
nine
could sit here
o'clock.
for hours telling each other what mental health problems we have, and we'd going on for hours.
I feel like that's a lot of people, though. We all go through a lot of things, and that type of music I find good because I'm a person where it comes to where if you express your mental emotions and you, or did I say express? I meant to say express. I definitely mispronounced that. But I'm all about expressing your emotions and not bottling them because that's not good. It leads to a lot of disasters and a lot of really bad things. Like for me, I've went through a lot of hardships in my life, and the easiest outlet I found for it was just trying to let go of my emotions one way or the other so I can move on to the next thing in my life. And
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
and sometimes definitely it is harder to do than to say. And sometimes it definitely does take longer than another instance, but at the end of the day, I'm still here today and I'm able to say I'm in a better position right now. Of course
Yeah,
there's always
there's my
work to
favorite
do.
song in the world that's called that. It's called I'm Still Here by Jeff Resnick. Or Jim Resnick. No, it's hard to remember because it's from a Disney movie.
Mm.
But it's from the Goo Goo Dolls. He did a solo career, Jeff Resnick.
He's the singer of the Goo Goo Dolls, the band.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see. I need to start doing my homework over here because I like the Goo Goo Dolls a lot. So.
Oh yeah, they're very nostalgic for me as well because when you're growing up you hear all these. No, it's definitely called the song "I'm Still Here" and it's about like a young boy singing about how he became a man without his father. And
Mm.
that just happens in society, where the men have to go out and get the job done, women stay at home. That was kind of like the world we lived in growing up as millennials.
Mm.
But now the world's changing. Politics are different. Everything's different. Everything's always changing. Let's get back to the music. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Scully just wrote in the chat that he says, I think we are going to release Climb This Mountain, the video, in a couple of weeks. Got some final editing to do. And
Absolutely.
he also said that there's going to be a new single and a video for Ready to Live with our new bass player, Shelby.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is some brand new news. We finally found the fourth member of the band. That's what's been taking us so long to play outside and to play live is because we couldn't. It wouldn't be good enough. We didn't have a fourth member.
So that jumps.
Go on. Sorry.
Sorry. That jumps over to another question, actually. Shelby, I heard, was your new bassist. So tell me about the experience working with her so far and everything that's to come.
Oh, it's been so lovely. She's putting so much effort and time into this project that I have no doubt in my mind that she's gonna be staying the long term because you never know with testing out new bass players and everything, or you never know how many bass players you have to go to until you find the right one. But she seems hella into it, and she's got all the stuff tight and locked and loaded. She is ready to go. Best bass player I've had the pleasure of meeting in Sarasota so far.
That's awesome. I mean, I think it'll work out well. I think that's the fourth member, and that's what you need, honestly, because then what, you can do concerts and stuff like that, and that also opens up tons of more doors for Twisted World.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Once you play live, people are gonna say, "Where are you?" And then we actually do have a YouTube channel and everything, but playing live is what's gonna get us most attention.
Yeah, I mean, opening up a lot of doors is it's a big way to grow, honestly, because there's tons of bands out there, and when I interviewed Scully, he said a lot of similar things, but there's a lot of bands out there that just kind of create music and then just be like, okay, we published it. Like, there's more to do to help yourself grow as a musician than just publish your music, like promotion, things like that. But the other band I interviewed last week, they said one thing that they do when they do concerts is after their concerts, they tend to hang out with a lot of their fans because they want to get into like a personal one-to-one connection with everybody.
Oh yeah, no, that's really what I want to do because I'm dying to hear all the fans tell me what that song meant. Why did they like this song? Because I've been listening to the music that I liked for so long that I really want to know what it's like for someone to tell me what they like about our music.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a big thing. If I was in that same position where if I was creating music and whatnot, I want people to genuinely tell me about how they feel about the music, how it made them feel. what songs stand out to them the most out of like an EP or an album or of singles I've dropped. So yeah, I can definitely relate with that.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of it all, especially if you're doing it solo. Bands are nice. It's nice to have a band because then you can rely on three people typically to like be your support or your cheerleaders in that tough time that it takes to make all the stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, it seems you're very passionate about Twisted World, and that's one thing I like to hear.
Yeah, I've had a lot of naysayers, because I'm a 24-year-old working with 60-year-olds in the band, and a lot of naysayers told me like you need to find a band that's younger, and I said I don't care. I'm having a good time. That's all that matters.
you, see, you see, I feel like this ties into another one of my questions, but the big thing is you're working with older people in your band, and that's good because it delivers mentorship to you, especially like Scully. He's been doing this before me and you were even born.
Absolutely, it's the older the wiser, and the wiser the better.
So yeah, I mean, I think his mentorship is really good with you, and that's also what I would like to ask. It was one of the questions on here. Like, how do you feel about the mentorship from him? And I forgot the other member's name, the guitarist. I'm sorry. Wow.
Kurt. Yeah, Kurt.
Thank you. I lost it for a second.
Oh my god, I believe he goes by something on the music videos.
Ace
he has the
something
name on the end. I think it's. Let me find this.
I can look this up real quick. 'Cause I was just watching your
Ace Kill, and then he goes by Ace Kill in the band, which I think is awesome.
Hell yeah, that's cool as shit.
Absolutely.
So the mentorship, how would you say it was for you so far? Because you've been with them for 2.5 years, so, and I think there's no way you haven't progressed in those 2.5 years. I think you've been doing really, really well for yourself. But
yeah, I was worried about it getting into rock and roll because I always wanted to do it, but my dad always told me you start singing rock and roll, you're gonna ruin your throat, and you're not gonna be able to sing for the rest of your life. And I hear that and I say, oh, that's bullshit. He just thinks it's gonna go bad, but I've had the best time ever. Learning how to create songs, learning how to be a part of the song, learning how to be present with a band. I had a lot of experience prior to that with like 7 or 8 years under my belt, being with choirs. So I've already had all this experience, but never with a rock band. So it's really cool to learn about the rock and roll world from Scully because I knew rock and roll, but I never really knew it as much as he did.
yeah, oh yeah, that's cool. So another question I have here: if you had to recommend 3 songs from your band to recommend to the people listening right now, or to people listening later on YouTube, which songs would they be?
I would say let me check my YouTube really quick because my favorite is Into the Pit and Pain in Her Soul. And the last one I would have to do is Seeing Through It. Now, if I had to limit it to 3, those would be the ones because those are just my favorite because the Pain in Her Soul and Into the Pit I wrote all the lyrics for. Too Far Gone, Seeing Through It, I didn't write the lyrics for, but Race the Heat I did write lyrics for. So it's been fun because actually that goes back tying into the mentorship kind of thing is Scully actually pretty much like lets me be in charge of lyricism, which is absolutely amazing. Like I appreciate that so much.
Hell yeah. Yeah. For me, the 3 songs I just play, because typically when I do interviews, the ones on the air here, I tend to play 3 songs from a band that I'm interviewing, and I pick the 3 songs that are my favorites. So I picked before Into the Pit, Too Far Gone, and Raise the Heat.
Yeah, that's definitely because we overlap on Into the Pit.
Yeah.
But Too Far Gone and Raise the Heat weren't my choices because I just love songs that make me feel something more than just hearing sonically. I'm a big lyricist person. Like the song's gotta mean something to me in the lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when it comes to Too Far Gone, I think that's the biggest one I'd like to talk about because that's probably my favorite song of mine. I feel like it just has a rhythm and a flow that I just kind of like get behind really well, and I can actually sit there and listen to that song over and over and over.
Yeah, so it's got like a rhythmic value to you.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So is that sonically like the bass or like the guitar that you kind of like, or is it just the whole thing comes together nicely for you?
everything all together, from the vocals to the guitar, the bass, the drums, everything, just the whole nine about it. It comes to me better rhythmatically than I would say the other songs, but that doesn't take away from the other songs. I think they're fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, no, no, I understand exactly what you're doing. Like, one of my favorite songs by the artist Seal, you know, the guy who sang, "There is a great tower alone by the sea." He was very famous at one time.
Mm.
And I love his albums that have, like, under 1 million views. And some of his best songs that are best songs via view counts aren't his best songs in my book. And, you know, it just matters to the person who's listening.
Yeah.
The music, that's what matters. You know, what is that person's favorite song? That's the really important thing.
For me, as a person, especially in the rock and metal genres, I wouldn't consider myself picky with that type of music. Like, the music has got to be terrible in order for me to say it's bad, right? Like,
Exactly.
so Twisted World, when Scully first sent it all to me, I think it actually was a DJ who sent it all to me, and Scully told me it was his other band that he was a part of and everything else. I listened,
Oh, yes. The Wolf, exactly.
yeah. So I listened to the Twisted World songs that were sent to me because I'm gonna be honest. The first thing I do when I DJ is I'm not gonna play music I don't like, right? So
Right.
I listened to the music, listened to all songs. I was like, okay, this is good. I can definitely put this on. And Scully's like, hey, you should interview Alex. I'm like, okay, set me up. I'm down to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
love it. 'Cause it keeps the show kind of, like, non-monotonous, because you finally get some, like, live air going on.
yeah, because like when I'm actually on the air as it is, right? I'll play a list of songs. I'll come on the air. I'll talk for like 20, 30 seconds, and then I'll just be like, okay, guys, next song, and then then it's just music. But like I like doing live interviews better because it puts me on the spot for sure. Because if I start stammering on my words, the whole world's gonna see it, and I can't edit it out. But the big thing is I like doing them a lot more because there's a live audience listening to it, and people get to hear more, not just about myself, but they get to also hear from the band members that I'm talking to, and it's like a full blown personality display from everybody, and I feel like it's a really cool thing for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you get to see all the differences between the people. I know you were telling me about how cool it is to see the difference between certain people.
Yeah, I mean,
Like certain bands.
for me, I all four people I've interviewed so far, actually technically five because the last interview was 2-1, but all five people I've interviewed, I've seen different things and different. I'm trying to think of the word, like different personalities for say from everybody, and it's cool to see that. Everybody I've interviewed has been very optimistic so far. Let's cross my fingers and hope that one stays.
Yeah, no, I don't get too negative with it. I mean, I would say that for me, the most negative song that I've ever sang was "Into the Pit."
Mm.
It's it's a terrible topic for me because I was dealing with suicidal tendencies at the time, and the best way to put it was just to put the music out, just to get that thought out of my head and onto paper.
Yeah.
So "Into the Pit" has all these negative ideas and stuff. You know, Ozzy Osbourne also made songs like "Diary of a Madman." You know, he was really going through it. And so all these songs in the rock and roll has got me through depression. It's got me through the things that I didn't think I could get over. So it's wonderful to have that outlet.
One thing I think I can definitely say about music, and it's not just this genre, it's just every genre, is music is probably the most powerful thing that we have on this earth.
Yeah, it's the most powerful healer.
Exactly.
I've heard of people who have dementia that regain their memory through music.
Yeah, I mean, music is a very powerful thing because for me, if I had to live without music, I'm sorry, man. I don't know what would happen to me.
Yeah, I remember asking people the question, if you were blind, would you be blind or deaf? And people always say blind because you gotta have the music.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I've seen enough in this world. I need to hear some more stuff, man.
Exactly.
Alrighty, so next question I have for you is, so I know you are the vocalist for Twisted World, but do you dabble into any other instruments or positions with Twisted World, or is it just vocals?
Well, there was a time that I was learning the bass for like 12 songs of ours, so because we were looking for the bass player and no one was showing up. And Shelby kind of showed up at the very end there and showed us like, hey, I'm right over here. We can get this started. But that's all it was. So I learned basically bass through Twisted World, but I learned how to play guitar on my own, self-taught as well. I've been playing guitar for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm. Nice,
Been
nice.
bass with Twisted World for about 6 months. Or no, 4 months, 6 months. It's hard. Time was passing by when I was learning bass because it was every new week was a new task to learn.
Yeah. I mean, guitar, I tried learning at one point. My brother, he's a self-taught guitar player. So I tried learning guitar. I think I was like 11 or 12, and that didn't sound good. I mean, I'm always willing to revisit that at some point in my life, but if it had to come to an instrument, I would definitely say drums would definitely be probably my most interest because I just like, just hitting stuff like that, so it'd be more fun for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe at some point, man. Maybe at some point I'll join a band and DJ Zave will become like, I don't know. I can't come up with a funny
Well,
thing.
drummers are basically in charge of the song.
Mm.
You get to control how fast everyone goes.
Yeah, it controls the BPM for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a lot. Controlling the BPM of the song is nearly everything. I think a lot of people underutilize like when a song should be fast and when a song should be slow.
That was
Sometimes certain songs that just don't sound right fast.
Yeah, that was the advice Scully was giving me when we were talking about me trying to get my vocals on sync with the instrumental. He was telling me about the drum loop, and he was saying just try to follow the drum loop and stuff like that. So I could definitely, yeah, I agree with that for sure. The drums are the most important part of a band. It's practically like being the leader in a way, I would say.
Yeah, I would say if a band is a ship, you got the navigator, which is the vocalist. You got the sails, which is the guitar. You got the cannons, which is the bass, and you got the person on the helm, controlling where the ship's going. That's the drummer.
Yeah, I would say so. Alrighty, here. Next question. Actually, I had 13 questions, but in between all these questions, I feel like we've been answering some of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the next question I have for you is, what are your favorite bands growing up?
Green Day, absolutely. It took me a long time to realize this because it's almost like I forgot about my childhood and then after I heard the songs again, it like lit my brain up and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about this. It was definitely Green Day, the Goo Goo Dolls, and funnily enough, Katy Perry was a big influence for me.
Mm.
I was very feminine as a child, so I liked all these girl singers. And Adele 21 was really big for me too. That one album.
Katy Perry is one of those things that just takes me back to my childhood because it's radio play. Because I heard
Yeah, it was radio play. Everyone was doing the radio play.
everywhere you went, Katy Perry, Katy Perry. You couldn't take a turn without listening to like Dark Horse or Firework or was it last Friday night?
She's got good connections to make hit songs.
Yeah, although I haven't heard anything from her recently. I don't know if that's because I'm living underneath a rock, but
well, maybe she's taking a hiatus. Who knows?
yeah, it's always possible. For me, favorite bands growing up because I got into rock music when I was 11. So Green Day's in there. They were one of the first bands I listened to. But my favorite band of all time is Metallica. And
that's very valid. Metallica.
Probably they're definitely my favorite band. They're always on my shows, so.
Yeah, Queen. I forgot. Queen and Beatles were up there for me. I don't know why, but it was Queen and the Beatles.
They're very.
They just felt like forces of nature when you just played those bands. You were like, holy shit, are these guys tight?
Yeah.
But every one of the bands that are up there, it's up to personal intrigue.
I could definitely say Queen and the Beatles helped pave the way for a lot of musicians in today's day and age, especially in the rock genre as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Beatles, I like just because I like the Queen and the Beatles because they were changing. They constantly questioned what the music should sound like.
Yeah, it wasn't the same sound every song. I can definitely agree with that. Alrighty, so where are we here? Okay, next question. I lost it. Here we go. I found it. What are some of the dream bands that you would want to perform on stage with?
Dream bands that I perform on stage with? Actually, probably. What was it? I would want to sing with. Oh my gosh, I'd want to sing "Goodbye Stranger" from Supertramp. really Supertramp, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I am right now in my life. The Breakfast in America album has been like my theme song recently.
So like, also to tie into this question a little bit, so like if Twisted World were to go on, let's say, tour, you guys are massively famous, and you had to open up for a show of any band, what band would that be if you had to pick?
Well, if they were still around, it would be Queen.
Queen, yeah. I mean, they're still around in a way. They have a
Yeah, or AC/DC, because I feel like our music is really inspired by like Rolling Stones, AC/DC, punk rock genre, and it would be awesome to open for them.
yeah. AC/DC is pretty cool. See, that's the thing. I'm too positive, so I'm always gonna agree with a lot of things you say because
Yeah, you can always say like, oh, that'll never happen, but like you never know. You never know if you play your cards right, life can just happen for you.
I'll tell you, man, doubting people and stuff like I don't doubt anybody because I've been doubted a lot, especially even just in this whole DJing thing. I've had people say I wasn't going to get hired here. I've had people say that I wasn't going to last. I had people say that I was never going to get my name out there, and evidently they were wrong.
Yeah, yes, that's a perfect way to put it. Evidently, it matters on how much you want it, not how much they think you can't do it.
The biggest thing is you put it. Life is like this, honestly, because I think of it like
I'm gonna go to Life is Like a Box of Chocolates.
I wasn't gonna say that now.
Okay, fair enough.
But I say it like this because I'm a boxer in my off time. So one thing I've learned a lot with boxing, and it also applies to almost anything in life, is whatever percent you give is what you're gonna get back. So you put in 5%, you're gonna get 5% back. But if you put in your full 110, you're gonna get that back. It may not be as fast as the next guy, but at some point you're gonna gain success from whatever you do as long as you keep putting in the work, you remain passionate, and just keep doing it day after day.
Yeah, just put in what you want to get out. Exactly, I agree with that so much.
But I mean, and such a simple thing, but I feel like it's just one of those pieces of advice that a lot of people will take and be like, okay, yeah, I've heard this already. I'll just crumble it up, throw it in the trash. But it's legitimate because, like for me with DJing, I've put in a lot of time working, not just at Castle Black Radio, but when I was on my own station that I ran for 2 weeks, I've been putting in just nothing but hard work, dedication, and opportunities just keep coming to me, and I keep finding myself to get more connections with people and just all that type of stuff. And I really enjoy doing this. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I was getting ready to ramble, then I kind of lost what I was gonna say.
Oh no, I don't think there's any such thing as rambling. Then you just play Ramble On, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Who did that? No, that was Aerosmith, right?
With ramble,
Ramble On.
that was Dream On.
No, Led Zeppelin. Ramble On. Yeah, Led Zeppelin. Oh, that's it.
Yeah. All right.
So there are people who think they're crazy, who think they don't know what they're talking about, but just let them ramble on. They'll get there.
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Sometimes I'll just start talking, then I'm like, wait, what am I talking about? I did that.
What was the original topic?
That's how it is for me. I think what we actually were talking about initially was dream bands to perform on stage with.
Yeah, and I have a couple. It's so hard to choose these days.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in that scene, definitely when it comes to opening up for a band, obviously it's got to be Metallica. That's by far my favorite band. And then maybe Slipknot at some point because they're definitely second place. But
there you go. I heard you like Slipknot.
Oh, I'm huge into Slipknot. I don't know if Scully's told you anything about that, but
no. I told him I want to create this interview to be like a full on surprise. Like I want to be excited and like I want to wonder what it's gonna be like. So I could ask him what's the Zave guy like, but I kind of wanted it to be like a mystery. Like,
yeah.
What's real?
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Surprise. He didn't tell me much information about you either. He just said vocalist, Twisted World. You interview this guy, see how he's like. I'm like, okay, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Like for me, definitely, yeah. I like that surprise element. Also, when I do my interviews, I don't technically want to just stick to this script of questions. I like an organic conversation with the person I'm talking to.
Exactly.
So Yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm still reading off questions here. And I feel like a lot of the questions, because of just the fact that we're conversating, it's kind of just, it's kind
It's
of
almost like
just,
an overlapping effect, right?
yeah, I would definitely say so myself. Alrighty, so we touched base on this question earlier, but maybe there could be more you can add to this one. What are some things that you do with your spare time outside of creating music?
Absolutely playing video games, and I'm actually also making video games as well. I've been really into like, actually, I've been making video games. We're working on one, but I can't really tell you what it's about and everything because I would like to keep that under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
It just it's just like I actually had to go on hiatus from it because of I just recently got admitted to the hospital from psychosis and everything. But you gotta take your life slowly after something hits you like that.
Yeah.
It's just mentally, yeah. So other than that, video games and just singing on my own. I have my own work. Like I do Alex Keaton solo as well, rather than just doing all eggs in one basket
Mm-hmm.
with Twisted World.
Yeah. What type of games do you play?
I'm a big card game player, so Hearthstone was up there, and I used to play Pokemon throughout my entire childhood.
That's
That was
amazing.
really up there for me.
I think we just became friends because that's kind of how I built up my Twitch page with Pokemon.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've been actually recently playing Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire because I thought that was one of the best they ever made, and they just haven't made anything like it before.
I think yeah, ORAS is definitely the best game that they've ever made for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So I actually have my own DS, kind of like you have your own Wii, just to have a piece of nostalgia with me.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a 2DS sitting right in front of me with a whole bunch of different Pokemon games. I think the last one I was playing was Black 2.
Oh yeah, that's the one game I couldn't get into. I don't know why, because I think I just didn't like the legendaries. I thought, man, Kyogre was so cool, and then they had to pull these guys out.
Yeah.
It's silly to me. But that's just a kid. That's just the kid in me talking.
Yeah, I've played pretty much all of them. I've gotten into all the shiny hunting and stuff like that. That's.
Is that how you got your influence on online?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Is that how you got your influence online, like shiny hunting?
Oh yeah, 100%. That was like what blew up my Twitch page.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I know about lots of shiny hunters. I'm more into the complete different side of the Pokemon game stuff, which is like playing Nuzlocke, where if like a Pokemon goes faints, you can never use it again. Try to play the game in hard mode.
Yeah, I want to do a Scarlet Nuzlocke at some point. I just keep forgetting to do it because I have Scarlet sitting right here on my desk that I haven't played.
Well, yeah, that's how you do it. You just tell yourself one day, today's the day.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, so next question I have for you is if you had to give advice to brand new artists, whether it's in the rock side of genres or it's just any overall genre, what advice would you give to them?
You gotta know, mentally speaking, be strong. You are gonna have critics that you think are worse than you, but you yourself, you are your own worst critic. So don't ever let anyone tell you you're singing off tune, you don't like the genre you're singing. Those are the naysayers in life. There's a really important message with people who say yes and people who say no.
Mm-hmm.
You're always gonna remember the people who say no to you the most, and you're gonna forget over the years who said yes to you. So do the best you can to remember the people who said yes to you, because the people who say no to you in life, they're gonna stick with you. And if you say no to yourself, then you're really gonna be stuck. So in music, you always gotta say yes to yourself. Post whatever you want, do whatever you like. Be passionate about yourself, not just your music, but be passionate about who you are.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I can definitely agree with the negative comments that people will say because that's the thing. You can get 7,000 people who say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna do great, you're gonna be successful," and that one person's like, "Yo, you fucking suck." That's gonna be the comment that you're gonna be like, "Okay, why did this person say that? There has to be a reason why this person's being critical on me." And then that's when you kind of just start, going through your mind about it. But for me, I like negativity because it fuels
Yeah, well,
me.
haters are gonna hate no matter what you do. You can't control that. That's their problem, not yours.
Yeah. And I mean, you're going to get haters no matter what you do. You can be a singer, you're going to get hate. You can be a football player, you're going to get hate. You can be a professional Twitch streamer, you're going to get hate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, XQC's top of the streaming platforms or whatnot, and he's hated by a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, people, it doesn't matter what you do in life, hate's inevitable. But it's about how you handle the hate and where you transfer it and if you can grow from it. Because negativity gets me going. I love when people are negative about me or say, like, I'm wasting my time doing this or I'm doing that. Like, I'm going to be honest. I know I talked about this whole DJing thing a lot, but I have had a lot of people in my, like, close life say that this is stupid. I'm wasting my time. This isn't gonna go anywhere. I
Well,
don't. Li-
yeah, that's what people said to me when I was playing with older people, in my band. People were saying this isn't going to go anywhere for you. But then I wouldn't have ever gotten to interview you, and this is my first time getting an interview. So, what can I tell them other than I got an interview? They
yeah,
probably never would have thought that would have happened.
exactly, and that's the whole thing. Because people doubt, and you know what? Screw them. Because if as long as you're passionate about what you want to do and you really put it all in, who cares what other people have to think? Then that's the way I look at a lot of things, just with everything that I do. Because everything that I've done in my life that I actually devote my time to, I become successful one way or the other. If I decide to stop doing it, then obviously there's going to be no success from it. But I always gain success from everything that I do that I put my time and energy into and I'm serious about. And I think that's and I always get negative feedback from people, but I always push past it.
Yeah, like people could say, "Oh my God, what the fuck are they doing? They're talking about Pokemon. This has nothing to do with a rock and roll station." But you know what? We're living our lives how we wish. That's all that matters.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, again, like I said, organic conversations over just a automated script. If you wanted to get interviewed by an automated script, I could have set you up with an AI bot, you know?
Yeah, these days you could do that absolutely.
Oh, easily. It'll take like 3 clicks of a button. I don't like that too much, but that's a whole
Yeah,
separate
it's
topic.
definitely that's a whole another can of beans.
Especially when you have Spotify doing AI DJs, and it takes away from us people who actually do
They're
real
doing that now.
shows.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if you pay like I think it's like $9.99 for Spotify Premium or something. I don't know. That you can get an automated DJ that takes like all of the music you've listened to and like every couple songs it goes on a talk break. No, it's stupid because like you have people like me and everybody else on this station who's actually investing their time into being real DJs with real personalities, and then Spotify can click something, make an AI DJ, and it takes away from us in a matter of seconds. And
Yeah,
it just
I think it's like that's once again like those are like AI is going to be a naysayer. People are going to say AI can take over your job, but as long as you keep doing your job, they can't.
yeah.
If you give up, then eventually yes, it's gonna take your job away. But if you just keep going at it, you'll be the one. You'll be the last. Like, do you want to be known as the person who gave up to AI or the person who didn't? You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially, I saw this. How I actually found out about the whole AI DJ thing was because I was on TikTok, and somebody goes and is like, "Hey, remember the radio DJs from the old days?" I'm like, "From the old days, we're still here." Like,
Exactly.
what are you
Radio
talking
DJs.
about? Yeah, that one definitely got underneath my skin, but I mean, what are you gonna do about it? As long as people just keep being people and keep being themselves and all that stuff, it's gonna be a dying trend anyways. I don't see it
Yeah.
going well.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought with opera. Actually, opera is still around. The old school singing style. And I told myself that when I went to college for music, that I didn't want to do opera because it was like a dying medium.
Hmm.
But I learned that even though it's just the fact I wasn't passionate about opera. If I would have listened to opera, even though it's not the most popular medium, I could have done that and had success in my life. But I truly didn't want to do it. That's why I didn't.
Yeah. So like, what would be your favorite genre of music?
Singer songwriter music. I want to be able to just do whatever I want. There's like Phil Collins. Like, what genre does he sing? The Beatles. What genre were they?
Yeah.
Rock and roll, blues, psychedelia. I want to be able to do it all.
Yeah. Nah, I get you.
That's where my Alex Keaton career comes in, where I have just my solo stuff. Like, I've had two singer songwriter folk songs, kind of countryish actually.
It's always good to dabble into a lot of genres. See, I'm more of a listener, obviously, but I listen to almost anything. Like early yesterday, I was listening to rap music all day, and then today I was listening to a lot of like '80s rock music. Like I listen to almost everything except like I don't know country, I guess. But it has I have to be in the mood to listen to country. It can't be just one of
Yeah,
those things
gotta be the
that
right time, right place.
yeah like for me I can't just listen to country just like turn it on right now and be like oh yeah just some good music like I'm not in the emotional state for it. I feel like if I'm more in like um, a vulnerable emotional state, I can kind of turn to country music and listen to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much all the questions I got for you. We met time
Yeah,
we met the time perfectly here, so I thought it was a good interview.
yeah, this was an excellent interview. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Awesome, man. Hey, man. Before anything, first and foremost, I'm wishing you the best with your solo career. Wishing you the best with Twisted World. I hope everything goes the way that you planned. You seem extremely passionate about it. You seemed extremely optimistic. So, I, you,
Yeah.
you have
You
my
know,
full support.
I sometimes don't get optimistic, but you know, those are just the bad days.
Yeah, and that happens to everybody. Definitely.
Exactly. Yeah, and I wish the same for you, man. With your video game career that you were doing, with streaming, and your DJing career. I hope that keeps going well for you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it very much. And before anything, to end it off, if you have anything you'd like to say to anybody listening about Twisted World, about yourself, feel free. The stage is yours.
Absolutely. It's always rock and roll.
Hell yeah.
Rock it on out.
Awesome, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you doing this interview today, taking the time out of your day.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. I'm going to let you go. Have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank you.